Good evening, everybody, to our next episode of Electro Live. As you may know, this show is designed to give a pay homage to the veteran artists, industry people that kind of shape the dance world culture, the hip hop culture, and also the up and coming new artists and artists that have been around and doing their thing. And so today we have a special guest. I'm very honored to have the beautiful Elexis Ansley. She is a Billboard charting recording artist, and she has a very unique, I'd say, a very sultry sort of voice. Her versatility as an artist allows her to kind of meld pop, R&B, jazz, and of course electro EDM music when she does compose her music. So she's all about positivity. She, in fact, pulls from strong, iconic women like classic soulful artists like Etta James, Aretha Franklin. You can actually hear that coming through her voice in her music, which is top notch. We'll have a chance to play a little bit of her music um, today. So, you guys, if you're not familiar, you'll be able to hear a little bit of what Elexis has done in the past. Elexis has released singles like Weekend Lover, Spinning, Way Up, One Life. One Life was one real big record. I actually used to spin that record on my radio station. It's one of those Billboard peaking uh, tracks that hit, I think it was like number 15 or 16, something like that on the
16.
Billboard. Yeah, 16 a few years ago. And the video was really cool too. I think it's like a very positive message sort of video, kind of targeting abuse and hate and deliverance from toxic situations. And so you'll find out Alexis sort of infuses messages of empowerment and unity into her lyrics. She's very spiritual minded. Um, and she talks about, real life situations and how we can overcome them. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and say, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm great, Scott. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Yeah, it's my honor. I've been looking forward to doing this for a while. Even when I thought about the idea of doing this little project a few years ago, I had even reached out to you on Facebook and was like, "Hey, you were like the first person I thought about actually." I was playing your songs and stuff on my mix show, and I was like connected with you on Facebook when I think the record label owner for Court Records, Curtis Urbina, I think he was looking for a remixer for one of your songs, or he was going to approach you or your management for that. And he reached out to me. I was an artist on his label a few years ago, and he had wanted me to, make friends with you, see if we could get something going on that level. I don't even remember whatever happened, but all I know is we became really cool friends on Facebook. We're keeping up with each other's little, posts and this and that. And now finally the podcast has come out, and so we're able to sit down and do this today. So I'm very honored for that. And the other thing too, I wanted to actually play some of your music here too for folks that may not really be that familiar with you. I always like to give people a proper introduction, and usually the music speech speaks a lot more than words, right? So I wanted to go ahead and just play that one track we were talking about, the One Life, and give the audience a chance to check it out. So here it is, folks, and let me know if you can hear it and see it. You able to see the video?
Yeah.
Cool.
Queers, ragheads, Jews, coloreds. Oh, going to hell. These people are leading us right to damnation. Sick of it all.
I love this video.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kind of inspired by Michael Jackson type of like a movie type of music video.
Mhm. Yeah, it looks top notch, man. It's really professionally done. I really like this a lot.
We know it, folks. Whatever happened to my country?
Whatever happened to my country?
He's such a great actor. I love him.
Man, where did you meet him?
I actually met him on set. I'm an actress as well, so we did a movie together, and then he just applied for this
Uh-huh.
position. I was like, "Oh, I know that guy."
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you're right. You're in California now, right? I know you moved some time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Oceanside, yeah.
Oceanside. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
That's a beautiful spot. I used to live there in Los Angeles and in Orange County, and I relocated about a year ago from there. Yeah, but Oceanside is beautiful.
Where are you at now?
I'm in Florida right now, so it's a
Cool.
lot different. Yeah.
Woman, let me get a beer.
Right there with you, seeing your favorite top 10 artists at our annual Live Life concert. You know what it is. 3rd year in a row, baby. You know
Nice and fast.
That's right. So if you want tickets to the Live Life concert,
How's your day going?
444.
Warm beer?
The
Drink all of it.
I've had one hell of a day to come home to a woman who can't even give me some cold beer, huh? You know, I have had one hell of a day. I don't need you messing it up.
With Elexis Ansley,
Think.
the one and only Elexis Ansley for the one life experience. That's right.
Daddy.
You and her in a yard partying all night
Wow.
long, chilling in the vibe. We got the top 10 countdown. That's right. Hot 100.7 top 10 countdown coming to you live. That's right. Shaded with Insane Flow, the newest hottest singer on the planet, with her song One Life, Elexis Ansley. Here we go.
Won't let them tell me who I can and can't be. Won't let them change me. I don't listen to nobody. Come with me up to the stars. Doesn't make no difference who you are. So take off the mask. Been a ways from the past. I can feel it within your every one life, just one life to live. Don't waste time. Forgive, baby. One life, just one life to live. Don't waste time. Just one life to live.
Yeah. Great song, man.
Thank you so much.
I love that track, man. I just love how it breaks down at that part. You know, it's really creative, and I really like the atmosphere of your music in general. It's really spaced out, and it's really grooving. It always hits into a really nice groove, and then your vocals just fit immaculately. Like,
Oh, thank you.
believe me, it's so hard to find an artist. Like, I produce music, you know, I do remixes and work with artists over the years, and man, it's so hard to find a jewel like that, to be quite honest with you. It's like, it's no joke, but awesome stuff, man. I actually want to play another track that I really like as well. Hold on just a second. This one is another track I really like, Weekend Lover.
Working so hard lately, so much I can't see you, and you've been busy, baby. We got so much to do, but a text will replace the weight of your arms, and a message won't convey all of my charm when a week gets through. I need you. When the clock strikes 5, the time is up. The weekend is wearing
Love it, man.
That 9 to 5 is crazy. Sometimes it makes me blue. I need your love to save me before the week is through. And I just can't wait for Friday to come. I'll be counting the days till my work is done. Now the week is through. I need you. I need you. When the clock strikes 5, the time is up. The weekend is where we find out love. When that clock strikes 5, the time is up. The weekend is where we find out love. Weekend lover.
Man, love it, man. Love it. Who produces? Who is your producer right now?
So I work with a lot of different people. So that one was produced by Danion and my good friend Etta. And the Billboard tracks are produced by Brandon Menard. And then now I'm working with some new different people. So I like just exploring and working with different people because everyone always brings something different to the table and to your music. So yeah.
Hmm. Oh man, it's really nice. I love it. I love the lyrical content. I love everything about what you're doing. And I always want to ask, folks, like, how did you get into the musical journey? First of all, well, maybe we should back up, and I should ask you, first of all, where were you born?
I was born in West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm a Florida girl originally, and that's, kind of home for me. I was in Miami for like 12 years before I moved out here, so I really
Hmm.
love Florida. I was raised
Hmm.
in Maryland though, but I came back for college and then I stayed down there for a while and made my way out here. I stopped in San Antonio for a year or two and then came out here. So yeah.
Okay, I was in West Palm Beach last year for a little while. It was beautiful.
Hmm.
Beautiful spot. I had never been before. I'm in another part of Florida. It's like Pensacola, Florida. So
Okay.
totally different. But I was there last year. It's really great. So as you were coming up, what music did you grow up listening to around the house?
Well, I just really loved R&B, man, TLC was like the big thing for me back then. And then getting into like, Mariah Carey and Christina Aguilera and just anyone vocally that could teach me a lot. But I just was always into that like R&B groove, the
Mhm.
soulful flavor of the vocals and that sort of thing. And that's why I kind of carry that into my dance music. And I have a dream of getting into more jazz and R&B eventually.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's always been a passion of mine.
Right. If you could think back, when how old were you when when you did realize, like, this is who I am and this is what I want to do? This is part of what I want to do in my life. When did you kind of figure that out?
Believe it or not, I figured that out when I was 3.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I was singing a song, and I think it was probably the first time I ever sang to myself, and once I heard myself, I just said, "Wow, that's pretty good."
Mhm.
I think you have something there, and it was just something that clicked for me that, I just felt like that's what I was born to do ever since.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cool. And did I guess your family was really supportive and everything like that as well?
Well, parents can be a little bit protective, and I wouldn't say that they were very encouraging. I mean, they encouraged me to do it as
Mm.
a hobby.
Mhm.
I played flute all through school and college, and they supported me in that. They bought me my first bass over there, the white Fender, and
Mm.
but in terms of a career, they were like, "Oh, well, it's really hard," and which it
Mhm.
is. It's very hard to have a good career in our industry. So I did most of it on my own,
Mhm.
got into college. And then, when I was in college, I was actually morbidly obese. I was 265 pounds. Um,
Mhm.
and I lost 100 pounds. And then after that, I started pursuing it really seriously. Not to say that you can't pursue it if you are obese, but in me and my brain, that's what I had kind of been conditioned to believe, unfortunately, just by society in general. And
Hmm.
then I started, doing top 40 gigs, and then I got into recording and all that after that.
Wow, wow. So that kind of is where your message comes out. You really talk about um a positive body image a lot, and you definitely talk about other issues, social issues, and just being a positive person despite different challenges. That's really important, I think, in the world. I think I myself am a believer, like, we are more powerful than we give ourselves credit to. Like, we're not even aware of how talented we are, what our potential is. Like, we have no clue about that sometimes because we never try and we never do things, or even think to do certain things. And with you coming out with such a positive message, I can guarantee you, you're touching people and you're changing people's life for the better. Even if you may not realize it, I really think you are, because the music is out there and it's reaching people, and I applaud that. I really applaud any artist that wants to bring more than just trying to say what's hot. This type of phrasing is hot right now, so let me do that, let me focus in on that. Or you're much more substantive to that, and that's really awesome. That's really awesome. So tell me a little bit about your how you, in your own words, how did you come to be the person you are, as far as your spirituality and your positive outlook on life and affecting the world the way you are?
Oh, yeah. Well, I just been through so much, and I've had to come from a really dark place of, this feeling of not being good enough, and not being accepted for who I was or for what I looked like. And that journey of uncovering myself, so to speak, was the hardest thing that I'd ever done in my life, and but the most worth it, And I just have such a passion and affinity for helping other people to do the same, and to realize that they are worthy, to realize that they are unique, that they do bring something beautiful to the table, regardless of what they've been through in their life. And yeah, I mean, from going through all of that, and meeting certain different people that led me on my spiritual journey, and just coming to a place of wanting to know more about life and the universe, and about why we're here, and how to heal ourselves, right? Because all of us, we've been through a lot, and there's just so many tools out there that we can use and harness to, in order to keep uncovering more of ourselves, to keep coming back to ourselves, and to realize, like you were saying before, like how we are talented. We just need to believe in ourselves, to pull that out of ourselves, and to really believe that we have something to show the world. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's
I
kind of
like
it in a nutshell.
I like that. I like what you said about tools. Like, if we have a tool, we can do things that we wouldn't normally be able to do. I could use my bare hands to try to unscrew something out of a wall or something, and probably break my fingers apart. But if with a simple screwdriver, I can do so much.
Mhm.
And I guess it's the same thing you're saying with your outlook on life and your power as an individual. Like, you can harness certain tools. What would you say would be the most powerful tool we have at our disposal that we can use to achieve those things?
Wow. The most powerful tool. Well, I guess it really depends on where each person is in their individual journey. Um, but I mean, I think meditation was a really huge tool for me. At first, I didn't really understand it. I was like, what, do you just have to not think about anything? I don't really get it, and I couldn't clear my mind. But meditation really isn't about that. It's about letting the thoughts flow through you, allowing the thoughts to come and go, and then
Mm,
allowing yourself to receive information.
mhm,
And through meditation, you can receive information of what's best for you, what's the next step on your journey. And it's just about allowing yourself to have that inwards, to go inward, to be in that space in order to receive. Because if we're going here and we're going there, we can't receive anything from the creator, because our head is already like, okay, I need to do this tomorrow. Oh, I have to go do the dishes now, and tomorrow I have to take the kids to school. That there's not a space for that information to flow in. So I think meditation is great for that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I mean, I practice a little bit of meditation, not like I want to, but one thing I've kind of researched and looked into was this idea of a flow state, where you're in this flow state. And that's kind of like a state where time seems to disappear.
Mhm.
Um, everything's all your negative thoughts, your chatter mind kind of goes away,
Yeah.
because you're singularly focused on something. And it could be you're meditating about, some object like love or a sunset or whatever you're visualizing. That gives you a chance to kind of block everything out. But even when I'm doing music, like writing a song or writing a track or whatever it is, even at work, like I work in IT and it takes a lot of focus and concentration. And if you're just into that moment, it's like everything disappears and then your day goes by really quick because you've lost track of time. And it's
Yeah.
like the most peaceful moment for me. And I think, like, for me, life is like just moments of that, here and there, that kind of break up um the chatter, and break
Yeah.
up the negativity. I think that's a really good tool. I think you're right. That's a really good tool to have at your disposal. At least because I think a lot of people do drugs and alcohol and get addicted to different things because they're all trying to escape
Exactly.
escape that, that constant rumination.
And I think a lot of it has to do with just not being present, right? In our society, we're constantly thinking about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, like, oh, I have to finish this so I can go and do this, or oh, the past that hurt me, but we're never like right here and now. And I think meditation can help you to do that. And when you're really truly present, like you said, like time kind of just falls away, but yet it goes fast, and you're always intuitively guided to the next thing in your day. And I think being just present is just so powerful, and meditation can help us do that. And we can meditate on, like you were saying, like a certain subject like love or a sunset, and we can even meditate with sound. And that was a breakthrough
Mm,
for me. The first time
mm,
I'd always tried to meditate with silence, and the
mhm,
first time I did a meditation with crystal sound bowls, I had so
mhm.
many visions. It was very powerful. So every person's
Wow.
different. You might need
Tell
to
me a
meditate.
little bit. How does that work? Explain to us how do you do that? That sounds very interesting.
Well, for me, it was actually at an event and somebody was playing the crystal sound bowls,
Hmm.
and they're all at different frequencies. They most sound bowls are created at 432 hertz. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the tuning.
Hmm.
Like usually A equals 440, but 432 hertz is actually where it's really at for us. It's like the frequency of the
Mm.
universe in our body, and it really resonates with us in a different type of way. Um, so yeah, for me, it was at an event, but if you're at home, there's lots of crystal sound bowl like meditations on YouTube or binaural beats.
Hmm.
I think being musicians, some of us, we really like to focus on sound in our
Hmm.
meditation. Yeah.
And those are kind of like higher frequencies, would you say, or lower frequencies?
I mean, they're all different, pitches. So you can have a
Hmm.
huge sound bowl that will be a lower pitch, and then, the small ones have the higher pitch. But like I said, they're, all based in 432. So highly spiritual, and it's really fascinating if you ever get time to like just really look into 432 hertz and what it does
Mm.
for the body, and the frequency of the earth and that sort of thing. And this kind of conspiracy theory, how we used to tune to 432 actually. And then I think it was like after the 1930s, they changed the tuning to 440. And when you look at it, like in a petri dish, they did this experiment where they radiated like 440 as compared to 432. And you
Hmm.
could see in 432, it's like this beautiful pattern that the sound makes, and it's very intricate. And then when you see the 440, it's kind of like jumbled. There's not really like a pattern. It's very like, just all clumped together. You can't really differentiate the different beautiful parts that you can with
Mm.
432. And then when
Mhm.
you play in 432, the same thing, or when you sing in 432, like just go on YouTube and search for 432 compared to 440 on guitar, and you can just close your eyes and hear how much more easy it sounds in 432, and how it
Wow.
brings a different resonance to your heart. It's amazing, very
Oh,
fascinating.
I'm definitely going to check that out. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're using these sort of tonality and this sort of vibration in your own music. I'm sure you probably integrate that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Light Shower, which was 25 on the Billboard charts, the original one, not the remixes, but the original one is made in 432,
Hmm.
with the intention of healing.
Hmm.
But it was so difficult because our programs are not made for that, like Pro Tools is not really made for 432 hertz. So like we had to
Hmm.
like fight with the frequencies a little bit, and we would come across problems with the bass kind of going boom, 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 and have to.
Mm.
So it definitely was a huge project. And since then, I was actually working with a producer who was very spiritual, so we were both kind of on the same tip, and we both had that same goal. But most producers don't really know about that, and so like my recent stuff is 440. But I would love to find a producer who's really experienced with making music in 432.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like a sweet spot as far as resonating with the human mind, I think, it's from what you're telling me. And it makes a lot of sense. I know with certain Buddhist traditions and Hindu traditions, and I've went like when I lived in California, I used to actually go every weekend. I used to go to there's this hill out in not Mission Viejo, where was that? Laguna Hills. I
Hmm.
used to go up in the Laguna Hills, and there was this group, and they invited me, and I went, and they would do that. They would, they would. I think maybe they were doing some of the crystal stuff. They'd take a spoon or something and make this
Yeah, it's a
weird sound.
mallet that
Yeah.
you go around the bowl. Yeah, and then
Yes.
it rings out, and
Yes, yes, they did a lot of that, and then we'd go and we'd play, and yeah, we were talking about frequencies, and you come out of there feeling, really relaxed and just, kind of at in a blissful sort of state of mind, and it was really cool. I got addicted to going there just for that. Like at the
Mhm.
time, I didn't know much about, Buddhism or Hinduism or anything like that, and it was just a joy. It was just really fun, but. That's awesome, Alexis. The other thing I wanted to ask you, and this is more, I guess, during kind of your history, what would you say would be one of your best, and on the flip side, your most challenging experience that you've had during your musical journey so far?
Hmm. The best? I mean, I think Billboard was definitely the best experience, just obviously a dream come true, and, amazing people to work with. I loved all my DJs that, made all the remixes, and everyone that I worked with at Billboard. It was a great experience. The biggest challenge, I think the biggest challenge was making that record in 432, but
Mm,
definitely worth it. I mean, it's my favorite out of everything that I've released. So for that reason, because it's so intentional, and I put so much intention behind the lyrics and behind the actual music, and even the key that we chose it in was specifically healing for certain properties and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's very special to me.
I understand. And so the process when you were making this music, um what is your workflow or process? Do you like go to to a studio and record, or do you have your own setup at home and you kind of um I guess record your vocals and then send them to your producer so he can chop them up and put them in the mix, or how does that work out for you?
Well, back then I had a studio at my home, but I didn't really have like the best microphone at that time. So we would do all the demoing and the writing at my home studio, and then I would go record on SSL in a big studio. But now I have a Neumann U87 over here to my left. So it's just an amazing microphone. And now, like you were saying, yeah, I do cut everything myself. I record all my vocals now, which is amazing. I had a great teacher, George Eyes from Club Jumpers, taught me how to track all my vocals and stuff. So now I do it all myself, and I just send it to my producer, and so I can work with anyone in the world now. So it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. That's usually how it's done. I was working on a project with Mike Greenlee. Shout outs to Mike Greenlee. He's a Grammy Award winning songwriter,
Nice.
and he looked me up through the same guy that put me on to you. Shout out to Curtis Urbina, another one. But yeah, he put me on to him, and we were all over the world. You know, Mike's in New York. I was in California. Deborah, I think she was in New York or New Jersey, something like that. And yeah, we were just sending tracks all over the world and cutting them up, and then she would go, or Deborah would go and record them in the studio. And yeah, it got sent to the Grammys. It was on the ballot. Didn't win a Grammy, but hey, it was worth a shot. We're gonna try to do it again, I'm sure.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. And that seems to be, especially in the age of COVID, that's what happened, because we started right there when it hit 2020. And yeah, and so we had no choice but to do it that way anyways. But it seems like that's how things are done, which makes it a lot simpler, and a lot less expensive. You can imagine having to pay money to go record your vocals and do your background vocals and mix them and engineer it, and oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, my first 3 records were quite a pretty penny because of how much I had to pay the studio and everything. Yeah.
And you recorded those in West Palm Beach, or where were you?
In Miami.
In Miami, okay. Any notable studio, or is this some some studio
Audio
you
Vision
knew?
Studios.
What's that?
Audio Vision.
Audio Vision, okay.
In North
Cool.
Miami. I've
North
recorded at the
Miami.
Hit Factory, but not the ones we were speaking about. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
That's cool. Yeah, Hit Factory was the one I was thinking you were going to say.
They're
'Cause
expensive, so that's why I was like, let me try and cut a grand off of this and go to Audio Vision. And Audio Vision was great too. I mean, same quality vocals that I got from Hit Factory. So yeah.
That's right. Okay, and so excuse me, we have something else I want to ask you. As far as your promotional stuff, like your promotional team, how do you promote and get so many views on your YouTube, and so many to get on the Billboard? Obviously you're going through DJs, like DJ pools and things like that. I'm sure they promote it. Do you have any special sort of promotional service, or that you work with, that you can
I
share?
did at one time. I was working with a marketing firm. But like you said, yeah, like just getting DJs to spin your records. A lot of it is just communicating with people on Spotify, trying to get on certain playlists and things like that. So it's hard. It's really hard when you're independent, to get yourself out there, and it takes a lot of work. And, it's a full-time job to just market yourself, in itself. So it's definitely been a challenge for sure.
That's like, oh my goodness, like that's the one part of this whole thing that I suck at. Like, I cannot promote to save my skin. Like, I don't know how they do it. Like, these people get all these streams on Spotify. Like, I'll put something out. Like, nowadays I'll just put something out myself, like on DistroKid or whatever, put it out on Beatport, Track Source, all these different outlets, DJ pools and things like that, and just can't seem to get the traction that's needed. Now I am working with a partner now that is supposed to be a master at this stuff, so we're going to see how that works out. Brandon, I'm counting on you, brother. But yeah, so that's a huge one right there, the promotion, because no matter how good your music is, if nobody's really going to hear you, then you're kind of just playing music for yourself.
Yeah. And I think it just takes time, you have to start somewhere, and I think if you just keep going and keep believing in yourself and putting out records, you're going to eventually meet the right person. I think a lot of marketing is just networking, and eventually you find the right people that have the right tools that are going to fit for what you're trying to do.
So true. So true. Yeah, if you can, I believe no man is really an island. And the more I sort of partner with people and try to bring some value to other folks that may, obviously provide a lot of value to what I'm trying to do, it's going to only help me and then help everybody. And hopefully we can come together just as as decent people and just try to help each other up.
Mhm.
That's really cool. But speaking of that, with that challenge in mind, that aside, do you think there's another bigger challenge to having success in the music industry? And if you do, what do you think that would be?
I mean, I think the honestly the biggest thing is just believing in yourself because it's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to get discouraged, if you're not finding, the streams and you're not, getting the right people and you can feel stuck at times. And I've been there. But it's all about pushing through those hard moments and going out there, meeting different people, trying different services, until you find what works for you. And I think just believing in yourself is the biggest thing that makes people, fail if they don't, so they just give
And
up.
actually being talented helps.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
there's, a, lo- there's a lot of delusional people.
Oh sure, yeah.
But you're definitely not one of them. I can guarantee you that. And we all know that's a fact. Now, the other thing too, being that and saying all that and we're speaking about really talented people, what advice would you give to really talented artists, artists that are up and coming and trying to make it? What advice would you give? I guess you kind of sort of summed that up already, just spending time, um, finding out what works for you, making partnerships. Anything else you can kind of tell folks?
I think, if you're a writer, you got to spend a lot of time writing. And even if you think that it's not good, don't judge yourself for it because it takes experience to get better at writing. So you don't have to show anybody your songs, really. You can write them just for you until you find one that you're like, wow, this is really good. Okay, I think I want to try this. But don't let your self-doubt get in the way of being creative, of picking up your instrument and practicing or whatever it is.
So just staying true to your craft and just having fun with it, I guess.
Yeah, and
No pressure.
putting the practice time in, instead of, oh, I just want to watch a movie. It's like, okay, well, let's practice for an hour and watch TV for an hour. Like kind of,
Hmm.
you got to kind of give yourself that balance. I mean, sure, you can't just work all day. You have to have some time to quiet down, quiet the mind, or to relax and stuff like that. But it's all about finding that middle path.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I notice like with myself, maybe you can speak to this, but if you ever have like writer's block where you're trying to write some, lyrics or you're trying to write some music and you just can't know, you're just thinking too hard about it. And then you kind of go away for a minute and chill, get your mind off it altogether and you start talking about or doing something else. And then all of a sudden it clicks, all this stuff comes back to you and it's like the block is gone.
Yeah. I've learned not to force my writing. When I get to that spot, I'm like, okay, time for a break. Even if it's a break for a couple days, maybe the next day work on something else, but not that song. And then you just get to the space where you're like, okay, I think I'm ready to like work on that again. And then you'll be surprised just taking that time that you needed, it brings so much more inspiration. And there's just
Gotcha.
different tools that you can use for writing too, like to break through that writer's block. Like a good one that I love to use is like, okay, I'm writing this song. Let's say I'm writing this song about, um, you know, loving my family or whatever.
Hmm.
Just an example. And if I'm stuck on a lyric, then I'll go to Google and I'll just type I love my family and then go to images. And then it'll show you all of these different quotes about love for family and everything like that. And then you read them all and then you save this one and you save that one. And then you have all this stuff that you can go back to your song and be like, oh, okay, this really actually works perfect for this line, but let me just change it a little bit, tweak it so it fits my song better. And that's been a
Hmm.
great tool for me to prevent writer's block.
You just helped me. just now. You just gave me a great idea.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll send you the bill.
Yeah, bill me. So that's really great. What did I want to ask you too? Oh, performances. Do you do live performances?
Yeah, I mean, right now I haven't been doing any just because of the whole COVID thing and that sort of thing. It's been really tough for a lot of artists, to get those live performances. Everything's kind of going digital these days. But right now I'm actually have a new single coming out on Friday, the 8th.
We're going to talk
And
about that for
yeah,
sure. I wanted to definitely get into that. So again, that single's coming out when?
April 8th is
April
Friday.
8th, this
Mhm.
Friday. Awesome. And tell us a little bit about the single.
Well, it's a song that was produced by Italian producer Matteo Candura, and we worked remotely, obviously. And it's going to be released under the Italian label Smilax. They've released a lot of famous records, especially in like the 90s. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the song is about having a relationship with somebody who's just a workaholic, and
Mm.
is just putting too much time into their career, and it's really to encourage him to find that balance of work and play. And she's kind of luring him to like stay over longer and that sort of thing. And it's a really cool song. I think everyone's gonna like it. It's a electronic dance song. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it's positive, of course, but more
Mm-hmm.
of a love song. And yeah, I'm really excited about the release, especially because it's Smilex is just a wonderful label, and
Yep.
I'm super excited. Yeah.
Yeah, they've made a lot of hits. Like you said, back in the '90s,
Yeah.
they were really had a large profile of artists. Um, that is awesome. Again, folks, if you like what you're hearing, if you like this content, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to always have different fascinating artists and people that we can speak to, like Elexis Ansley, and she's dropping jewels right now. She's telling us about her up and coming new single, so we're looking forward to that this Friday. And well, actually, this is pre-recorded, so by the time this video hits, it will probably already be out because I usually post these up on a Friday. So this will be perfect timing for that.
Yeah.
So awesome, awesome. And I'm trying to think of anything else that you would like to share with your audience at this time. Anything that we should know, or any message that you want to give to us at this point.
Let's see. Well, I just want to thank everyone for being here, first of all, and for, kind of coming on this journey with us. And I want to thank all my fans for, encouraging me through my own journey of becoming a musician and becoming a Billboard charting artist and everything like that. And I just want to encourage everyone who's like a new and upcoming artist to just keep going and to believe in yourself, and all is going to fall into place as it should.
Awesome, awesome. Definitely inspiring me, folks. The beautiful Alexis Ansley. Look forward to her single coming out this Friday. Um, we're really looking forward to everything that you're going to release. We know you've got a bright future ahead of you. Got a big fan right here. And so, with that, guys, we're going to be out right now. Stay tuned next week for another artist that I'll be interviewing. And until then, peace.